The Ottawa Charge win 3-0 in regulation over the Toronto Scepters in the final game of the season to clinch the final playoff spot in the Walter Cup playoffs. Whew. What a wild ride to get here. What a wild ride. This is one of the best games I've been to. The Charge have given me, in their very short existence, some of my favorite sports memories already. Like, again, this is the gold standard, but it's up there with Miracle on Bank. Like, this game, obviously the game against Montreal, I'd even argue game one of the finals. There are some truly, truly iconic games that the Charge have played. I mean, if you want to build a long-lasting fan base, this is how you do it. Games that will be remembered for a while. Iconic games that will go down in the annals of Ottawa sports history. This was an exceptionally fun game to be at. Everything you want to see. Our offense got the goals we needed. The players that you want to see. And Phillips played some of her best hockey. Our defense, despite giving up a lot of shots, still looked pretty staunch. And overall, yes, shots were in favor of Toronto. I feel like the better team still won. I still feel like the better team won. And it felt like a very back and forth game. It never felt safe. It never felt comfortable until really late in the game when Vasco put it away. But this is the kind of game that sticks with you. I mean, first off, hats off to Gwyneth Phillips. Phillips, in our final 4 games, we had 2 against Toronto. Ultimately, we beat them by exactly 6 points. 2 regulation wins. In those 2 games, Phillips faced 42 and 41 shots for a combined 83 shots against facing Toronto. She let in 0. She didn't let a single puck past her. If you include the Boston and the New York games, in her final 4 games of the season, she allowed 2 goals. That's it. 2. In 4 games. She might be one of the hottest, if not the hottest goalie going into the playoffs. I'm not saying all season. I'm going to be honest. I do think Frankel is very likely to win goalie of the year. Phillips should be the other nominee, right? It's obviously going to be Debian and Frankel. I really, really think Phillips, the workload she's had, the amount of saves that she's made, and down the stretch when we needed her the most, she showed up. You know, as much as you can want to say, oh, this goalie or that goaltender, who's the one who had to step up? Perfect example, Phillips and Kirk. One of them posted a shutout, season on the line, and the other one didn't. One of them posted a shutout twice, season on the line. The other one didn't. That's the difference between me making a video talking about our series against Boston and me making a video talking about our season being done. Phillips was incredible and certainly one of the most valuable goaltenders in this league because she is one of the biggest reasons why we have more hockey to be played. But let's not ignore the other players who've stepped up big time. First off, because she didn't get on the score sheet, though, again, another amazing game. Rebecca Leslie, who led this game with 4 shots, who finishes the year second in goals scored, which is incredible. Finishes the year as one of the breakout players. One of the breakout players in both the PWHL and for the Ottawa Charge. And she's one of the highest volume shot takers. And you can't fault her because she scores so often. that's something that is also useful because the more shots you take, the more likely you'll get a rebound to go in. And the more you're testing a goalie, the more you test a goalie, the more likely it is that eventually they're going to break. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? I'm making this after I made my Sens video where they got eliminated, and I can't tell you how many times on the power play I was screaming at the TV, shoot the puck. Shoot it. Becca Leslie, she shoots the puck. More often than not, it goes in, and when it doesn't, it still generates chances. So she didn't get on the score sheet tonight, but all season she's been a consistent player, and this is just an example of that. Who do we got to give another big shout out to? I'm so happy this happened. I mentioned it earlier, and I was really crossing my fingers it would happen. Venusa Kadyrova, she scores the game winner in this game to make it 1-0. It is her 10th goal. We have 3 players that hit the double-digit goal mark. Absolutely the best year we've had offensively, the most weapons we've had offensively, the best we've had of players clicking. Rebecca Leslie, Brianne Jenner, Venusa Kadyrova. Who wasn't delivered? We had Hughes, we had Wozniewicz. Clark was picking it up towards the end there. We have actual threats offensively that makes me a bit more confident than I was last season. Look at what ended our season last year. Why we didn't win the Walter Cup. Our offense was nowhere to be found. And this team, I now have a bit more faith of look, if 1 or 2 players aren't doing it, others are there to step up. Kadyrova, perfect example of a player who, when you need a goal, she steps up. And she more than stepped up here. Great play by Cava to get it to her, but she is the one who delivers it home after a scoreless first period, a very tight first period. You know, we score a goal in the first that gets called back. The reaction is so delayed by the fans and the players. We're like, what? Even the most biased Ottawa fan is like, that didn't go in, though. That clearly hit the post and went out, and the players were reacting like that. It was called a goal, and it's like, oh, okay, we'll take it, but we all know this is coming back, and yeah, it came back, and I'm not mad. It's not a goal. In no universe is that a goal. But it's an intense pace throughout the first period. It's back and forth. Toronto gets chances. We get chances. And obviously we do start the game up by half a goal. Right, a 0-0 tie would give us a playoff spot. This is actually one of the very rare occasions where Gwyneth Phillips could win the game literally by herself. Where even if we got no goal scoring, a shutout would do it. And of course, she did get the shutout, but also we got goal scoring. And, in the first period, I don't know. I thought both teams played really well. Toronto was starting to get a bit more chances. They were staying in the offensive zone, but, we get some huge saves. Our defense plays well, and, the first period ends pretty even. It's tied at 0. And one thing I said at the end of the first, what I put in my notes is, I like that it's tied, but this isn't going to be enough. I actually was thinking there's no way that not 0-0, that's not feasible. The way these two teams are playing, it's not going to happen. Now, to be fair, I was kind of right because it did not end 0-0. But I really thought that the way Toronto was playing, I will say I'm pleasantly surprised that they didn't score because they threw everything they had at us. Second period starts, same level of intensity, and this is when Kadyrova, like I said, she scores, gets us on the board first. Right after we take a penalty. House takes a penalty. No arguing this one. It's pretty blatant interference. All the penalties that were called were pretty blatant. There was one blatant miscall where Toronto very obviously high sticks us. I saw the replay, and it did look like that player was kind of in a headlock beforehand. So, okay, I'm not going to complain that much about the refs. Most of the penalty calls, actually all the penalty calls, they were fair. I think they swallowed their whistles, except for when they really had to call stuff. It was, I give the refs slack when they do poorly. I really make a stink out of it. They did it all right. I don't think that there's much to complain here. And For a game of this importance, you want the reffing to be good. You don't want anyone walking out of this game feeling cheated. And I can tell you, like, Scepters fans can't leave this game saying, oh, well, the refs are the reason. No. You're just playing got beat. And if the Scepters scored on their power plays, there's no Charge fan that could have said, well, those refs made terrible calls. No, they were penalties. This is textbook not allowed thing to do. Like, pretty obviously not a hockey thing. This is a against the rules thing. And we get the penalty kill, and we kill it. And right back, both teams, chance after chance, blow for blow, blow for blow. Cava almost gets one on a nice break from Katarova. You know, Cava to Katarova. We nearly got Katarova to Cava, but alas. And then we take another very blatant penalty in the second, and we get another good kill, mix of strong defensive play and Phillips standing on her head. The period ends 1-0. Okay, so you're going into the third. You're up by a goal. But it's uncomfortable. Because, yes, you know, you could allow a goal and be okay. You know, 1-1 would be a win. But the way Toronto's been playing and the way that their power play looked, it was stopped both times, but it's looked good. It's looked dangerous. You want something else. And then what happens? The third period starts almost immediately. Brianne Jenner takes the puck away from Toronto in their own zone. A feed to Woznovich. She absolutely undresses everyone in Toronto. The defense, the goaltending. She leaves, no doubt about it. She scores. 2-0 Ottawa. The Wizard of Woz to get that insurance marker. Sarah Woznovich, mwah, what a rookie season for her. Definitely the best rookie season of anyone on Ottawa. Katarova's technically not a rookie season, but definitely the best rookie season. I'm very worried that her and or Katarova are going to be gone next year. They've both been huge. We can talk about expansion when that actually gets announced, though. She scores, and this is where you can breathe a little bit easier, because now you're like, okay, well, Toronto needs 3 goals in one period to eliminate us. Like, now we can breathe a bit easier, but this third period, Toronto goes all out. Everything they have. Everything they can throw at us, they do. Phillips stands on her head. Our defense locks down. Another penalty kill it off. And this is a different situation. They need to win in regulation. And that's the benefit we have from getting so many wins going into this game. They need to win in regulation if they want to eliminate us and make the playoffs. So they're not down by 2. They're down by 2.5. They need 3 goals. So they have to pull the goalie, and they pull the goalie early, which is expected. And Alexa Vasco hits the empty net. 3-0 Ottawa with 4 minutes and change to go. And this is when I think there's a bit more of a sigh of a relief. Like, oh my goodness, it's real. It's happening. Look, like, even when they scored, I was like, Toronto still might get a goal. Maybe even 2. There's no way they're scoring 4 in 4.5 minutes. The way we've been playing. There's no way they're scoring 4. And there was no way they were scoring 1. Time runs out. Game over. Charge win. The crowd is going berserk. We're going nuts. The we want playoff chants all game. Mwah. And what happens? This is what I talk about, like, magical, like, iconic. Carla McLeod comes onto the bench. The entire team gives her a hug. I heard the call. I obviously was at the game, but I heard, like, the call on the broadcast afterwards. They did it with Haley. They're doing it for Carla. If that doesn't make you love this sport, nothing will. If that doesn't make you love this league, then I don't know what to say. That is as heartwarming as it gets. It is beautiful. Even Scepter's players giving her hugs. Like, you get misty-eyed thinking about it. How could it get any better than that? Here's the thing, it can. Reports are that she's back for the playoffs. This team needed to make a playoff push to make the playoffs. Do it for Carla, right? They made the playoffs, and she's back. And, I mean, do it for Carla. I know, like, you know, there's always different, slogans that teams use for the playoffs. I really do think, as much as it's easy to go traditional, charged up for the playoffs or whatever, I really think this is a special circumstance. It should be, do it for Carla. Do it for Carla. They won. They won the most important game of the regular season in convincing shutout fashion. And how can it get any better? And then it gets even, like, the storylines that this creates. Because now Montreal, who ends up winning, first, has a tough decision to make. And here's the thing. A lot of people thought, Ottawa was, like, in fourth by a bit. First off, we're fourth place, yes. But fifth place was 6 points behind us at the end of the day. This year, there was kind of a clear good teams, not good teams. And you can tell this by the wins. The difference between us and the Scepters, we finished with 17 wins. They finished with 11. 6 more wins. Yes, a lot of them were in overtime, but wins are wins. And we finished with 6 more wins than them. Actually, the team closest to us is the Frost, who have 16 wins. They actually have 1 less win than us. They just won in regulation more than we did. But we have more wins than the Minnesota Frost. And not only this, in terms of wins, in terms of raw, just looking at total wins, we are closer to the Victoire than we are the Scepters. We are a good team. I don't care what anyone says, a team that has 17 wins out of 30, at minimum, they're a good team. They deserve to be in the playoffs. Certainly compared to the team with 11 wins, the 17-win team deserves the playoffs. And so do you want to face that team or Minnesota? Montreal picks Minnesota. Last year they picked us. They obviously regretted it. This year they are choosing the back-to-back defending Cup champions. Wild decision. I love it. Oh my gosh, I love this league. And this has kind of created an interesting dynamic because Ottawa, Boston, these are the 2 teams that made the finals and lost. And who are they going to face? Montreal, Minnesota. They're either going to face the team that beat them in the finals, in a finals rematch, or they're going to be facing the team that they had to beat the first time in a semifinals rematch. This time for all the marbles. Mwah! Beautiful. Oh my goodness, the storylines can't get any better. One of the finalist teams with a hope to get revenge. They are either going to truly be getting revenge against a team trying to three-peat, or they're trying to get revenge in the finals, and who are they facing? A team trying to get revenge on them. The team that they beat the first time around. And we've got the Carla story. What else can we add to this? CTC, the Canadian Tire Center. Oh my goodness. It just keeps getting better. Now look, there are a lot of people that are like, oh, I would prefer TD. Oh, I would prefer TD. I get it. It is more central. It is more downtown. It is a little bit of a surprise. It also makes a lot of sense. I was like, every other team that's like still in the playoff race, they're like getting their season ticket member email about like, hey, playoff packages. Where is it for the Charge? What's going on? And then when it was announced that it was at the CTC, you were like, oh, that's why it took so long. That's why. I know we've never won at the, okay. I know we've never won at the CTC, but that feels like an advantage, you know? And what I've heard is like, oh, well, you don't want like a half capacity stadium of 12,000 where you could have a full capacity of, 8,700. I agree. But you know what's preferable? A full capacity of like 17,000. It could happen. It could very realistically happen. Right now, the 2 lower bowls completely sold out. Tickets went on sale yesterday as I make this video. 2 lower bowls completely sold out. The 100s, the 200s, gone. No tickets. The 300s have opened. They're doing it one half first. The half where the cameras are going to be. Makes sense. They're already kind of starting to go. And round 1 starts on Thursday. Then Saturday is game 2. And being that there's at least going to be a day or 2 of travel, we're talking Monday, probably Tuesday, game 3. By then, who knows how many tickets have been sold. And if you can get even to like 15,000, that could be pretty significant. And as we go on, like if this team does go the distance, could you imagine if game 4 is in the Canadian Tire Centre and the Charge have a chance to win? That will be sold out. And that also is the environment that the Walter Cup should be handed out on. This league, 100%, the championship game, the championship clinching game, should be in a sold-out NHL venue. Because we sell out NHL venues for a regular season game that basically doesn't matter. We ultimately lost that game to Montreal. I guess it mattered for Montreal getting first overall in the standings. But that's about it. Like, for us, it literally didn't matter because we lost that game in regulation, still made the playoffs. Meaningless regular season game. And how many other teams? The Sirens played a meaningless regular season game at Madison Square Garden. Sold it out. So you're telling me that game 4 of the Walter Cup Finals couldn't sell out an NHL venue? I don't know. I think it could. And I think that that is what this league deserves. And that's also something that would maybe wake some people up that are sleeping on the PWHL. You know what I'm talking about? Those who's, oh, who even cares? Well, here's the Canadian Tire Centre completely sold out. So, I don't know. The same people that care about the Sens. Sens did nothing good at the CTC this postseason. Maybe the Charge can correct it. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if the Charge do win the Cup at home in the Canadian Tire Centre this year after the Sens did what they did? Like, that would be it. That would be the line. How much do you care about the Charge? This is what the Sens did, and this is what the Charge did, and it's the same venue, and look at the results, and look at the fan reaction. Yeah, that's how much we care about this league. This is what that league deserves. We are in for a really fun series against Boston. Every game against Boston in the regular season has gone to overtime, so we are like buckle up moment. This is going to be so fun. And having every game at the CTC, maybe it's a warm-up for next season. But the other thing it could just be is like, okay, every playoff game, every weekend game. Can we make it a bit more consistent? I think we could. And if this goes well, you know, if lots of people come to the CTC, then maybe the LeBreton Flats Arena could just be the full-time venue, and we might see pretty good numbers. But right now, time to lock in and focus. Because Thursday is game 1 of the Walter Cup playoffs. And Ottawa, their ticket has been punched. And as always, go Ottawa! Go!